and go live to give you a quick update on what's going on with the animation. I wanted to check in. I wanted to keep it real. I want to check in at actual working hours. So I don't know where you guys at, but we're on the East Coast with 12:58 a.m. right before 1 a.m. And I wanted to let you know that we working, with my team, which is me, myself, and I, working it into the night to get this thing done. And I wanted just to comment on the animation process and give you an update because a lot of people are very interested in, behind the scenes and whatnot, as I would too. So when you're doing where I'm trying to do is really different, really innovative. Like I may be pushing the limits, I feel, with technology becoming available. The suit I'm using, as you can see that I'm in the Perception Neuron 3, and is a pretty dope suit, and I like it. And now before the suit, I did have the Rococo suit. Now I can put our review between the suits and why I prefer to go to Perception Neuron. And the ups and downs we can talk about later. But right now, as you can see, I'm in the Perception Neuron 3. And I'm using the Studio Access software, and it's pretty good. I like it. It does what I need to do. It gets me there. So what I'm doing with this animation, what makes it traditional animation is keyframe, right? And that's how most people do it. But my keyframe skills are okay. They're not there yet, but I said I wanted the mocap, right? Because the mocap technology is becoming available and it's coming at a rapid pace. And then I tried to do the mocap and everything was good. But when I went to click render on Octane and Redshift, it would just take too long. So I couldn't get anything done. I had my renders down to like 35 seconds, but even doing a scene, it would take too long. I was like, okay, this is not possible. So I put it down and I picked something else up. And then I heard about this little software called Unreal. So I'm like, oh, Unreal, that sounds amazing. So I jump in, and it was a stiff learning curve, but learning software is not that big to me. I jump in and I'm like, all right, this is awesome. I'm doing it. And I look at the renders and I'm like, I don't know. They look amazing. I just don't want to do photorealistic. That's not where I'm going with my story. My story is not built around that. Oh, quick side note, I'm doing an animation. So I was like, that's not where I want to go. So I said I want to do toon shading. I found a couple tutorials online and I just went in on them. I started redesigning them. I started tweaking them and whatnot. And I was like, okay, this is possible. Okay, this is possible. That's when I felt a little excited and said, okay, wow, this is possible. So from that, what I did was, and if you're looking at it, drop a chat, we can go back and forth. It's all good. So from that, I was like, okay, I started doing stylized version of it, just stylized. And I was like, okay, I had to tweak it, I had to add lines, add this. I was buying different ones they had online. I was tweaking, I was mixing it because I was trying to do a style that I felt that was fit to what I wanted it to look like, to match the story. So I feel like I'm right now. I mean, don't quote me. I feel like I'm comfortable with the way it looks. There's some small tweaks I can do, but I feel like I got a style that's unique to the story. And, the story is unique and the style is unique. So I'm getting that done. But what I'm facing a lot of challenges and to be honest with you, facing a lot of challenges in time management because as I'm, doing the mocap, the writing and whatnot, I still take on clients. You know what I mean? I take on clients from Home Depot to this to that. I can't say all the clients I'm taking on, but it's a challenge. And I want to let you guys know that sometimes the best time to work is when the world is quiet, is at night. That's what works for me. So I jump in at night. I have a room dedicated to it. I redesign it. I try to use vibrant colors because I wanted it to stay vibrant. I treat it like a studio. Anybody working in the studio, it's always you block out the window, so it always look bright in the studio. You know what I mean? So I try to treat it like that and get the work done because I feel like you just got to grind past it. And with the technology coming out, a lot of things is making it accessible, making it easier. Like a couple of months back, the suit I was in, it wasn't available. The finger tracking wasn't available. You know what I mean? I can show you. Let me show you what's going on my other screen so you guys can get a good look and say, okay, this is what he's talking about. I'm gonna share this screen really quickly. Give me a second here. Pop over there. All right. Let me just drop that. Bloop, bloop. All right. Let's see if you can see that. Let's go split screen me and the thing. All right, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I want to show you what it looks like in the interface. As you can see, I'm still in there. I recalibrate because of the orange, but yeah, I'm still logged in. I mean, it's a very light suit. It feels like not even wearing a wristwatch. So it's a pretty cool suit. I like it. It does everything I needed to do. But I wanted to show you what it looks like with me in the suit and talking in the suit. And I'm next to all this metal. I'm touching the mic, all that, because it's throwing off my arms to probably recalibrate. But I can tell you what, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it is immune to metal. I would say in the metal for room with boom poles, I haven't felt the effects of it. So it does a pretty good job. Again, that's the Perception Neuron 3. I mean, to me, I think it was around 3K. You can look it up. It was pretty pricey for me, but I feel like it was something. These suits resell pretty easily. Like you put it online, they resell pretty easy. You can drop the price down $200 or $300, but the resell on this is pretty easy. They're like Apple products, they resell. So I wouldn't be so scared. Like, oh no, they resell pretty easy. I mean, unless some technology comes around the corner that erases it. I've even tried the video to AI. That's cool, but that thing is not animation ready. It's something just to play around with. So like I said, if you have, appreciate it, Damon. Mr. Mac, you have any questions, shoot it out at me. I just want to give y'all real time. Look, it's 1 a.m. I'm grinding it out. I figured, let me cut to real time. Let me show you exactly what it is when you work behind the scenes. Let me give y'all the one-to-one that I would want on the opposite end. Let me show you the details and what it looks like when I'm working. So let me describe the background about what you guys see behind me. So you see the cones, you see the boxes. You're like, okay, what are you doing? So what I'm doing is I'm digitally creating the world that I'm. Let me show you the world that I'm building, because I'm digitally creating that as well. And so the scene right here takes place in the bathroom. I'm using Cinema 4D, but the scene takes place in the bathroom. As you can see, I have did the UV and whatnot, but I haven't went in and textured and I'm gonna do that all in Unreal because I'm gonna do some stylized stuff to it. But so I have to digitally recreate this environment of the bathroom inside the real environment what I'm living in. So I have I don't want to walk through the walls and be looking weird. So I have to, map the sink. I have to map where the toilet is. I map where I interface. Now, wherever you see a cone is where I'm going to be interfacing. So you see a cone, that's a spot of interfacing. Like I start at the urinal, I move to the sink and whatnot. So these are little spots, and I notate that. I was at a studio. I forgot what Marvel movie was. And I was like, okay, wonder what they're set up. I'm so excited to see what mocap set they're going to be using. And they was like, yo, they had these Home Depot boxes. I'm like, what all this money you guys got? Y'all using Home Depot boxes? The dude was like, man, whatever works. I thought someone trying to get retractable walls and pull it back and It's like, yo, Home Depot boxes. We can drop into them. We can make walls. I mean, they had maybe 1,000 Home Depot boxes, but at the same time, it made me rethink. Look, the simple approach is sometimes the best approach, and that's the approach I want to take. So I looked at the boxes. I looked at the actual code. I went by the exact same boxes they had. I put up there. I added the cones because I think for me that it was my little flair to it. So I can say, okay, let me add cones so I know what the interface, because it's a little confusing. Now I can do it and have it one-to-one, have my character walking around in the bathroom, but I don't want to, in my performance, be looking at the screen, looking back. So that's why I did with the cones, right? So it works pretty well. The room I'm in, I think it's a 25 by 30, maybe. So it's large enough to do what I need to do. I haven't faced many issues. I have a treadmill as well. So I jump on the tread when I'm doing a walking down the street scene, but I have to maintain pace. So you can cut away, you can cut back. So there's things you can do to what do you call that? There's things you can do to get around the issues, right? You know what I mean? I would say you wouldn't want to do a long scene, because a long scene, you're just gonna get lost in the sauce on where you at. I would say in one environment, right? I did take it outside when I first got the suit. I took the Rococo suit outside, and the Rococo suit performed pretty well. But this is Georgia heat; it was hot, and that was cooking me up. So there was no metal outside. And this suit, I took it. I think I walked around in the house and I left the recording. So I don't know what the range was, but I was on the other side of the house, and it went through walls and whatnot. So the range was pretty strong. The Rococo suit, I would say, has a stronger range because it goes through your Wi-Fi. So you can go outside, you can do all these other things. So that's the difference between these two suits, really. But I wouldn't even you got to find the workflow that works for you. You know what I mean? Whatever you're doing. If you're doing a video game, honestly, oh, sorry about the mic. If you're doing a video game, honestly, this is the easiest process. You want to do kick punches. You can take my Rococo, your Rococo, or your mocap with Perception Neuron, and you can jump to a whole nother piece of software, right? You can you can use your mocap with somebody else's mocap and combine those mocap. It's like, look, I want this guy to jump and I want to kick. Do the kick, combine it. And so it's a whole nother way of animating. I use the thing as Cascado. I love that software when it comes to animating. It's like a cheat for me, but it's a beautiful software. You can do a lot of good animation. That's one software. If you want to learn a software for animation and you're like, look, these keyframe, you're not comfortable with it, that's the software that can get you a lot of different places. There's a lot of other way. Most of the other softwares are the same. You know what I mean? It's keyframe animation. It's the same when you jump in Blender or Maya. It's all the same, really. I know people compare. I mean, Blender has the best price. You can't beat free. But at the same time, I would say don't focus more on the software. Focus on your strength and your weaknesses. If you're jumping into it, I would say probably jump Blender. But I wouldn't say personally of a personal project, because to learn something new, it has to give you some new benefits. And for me, Unreal Engine gave me, let's talk about Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine gave me the best bang for the buck. Like when I dropped in and I was like, yo, this is amazing. When I was just hitting button, it was real-time rendering. Like I remember rendering take all day. And when you jump in Unreal Engine and it's just real-time rendering, it's just fast. It is amazing, right? But the challenge was for me to take that and do my own style and do toon shading in it. That was a challenge. I didn't see nobody really do it. I've seen people touch on it, but it was for video games, so it wasn't high production value looking. So I went in there, I was tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and drawing inspiration from this and that. And once you get an idea, when you get a comfort level with the software, when you really know how to work it, it is pretty simple. I think I overcomplicated it at the beginning, but honestly, you go in there, I would say the timeline on Unreal Engine is the best. Like I came from an editor's background, Premiere. I think I used only Premiere, a little DaVinci, but the timeline on there is amazing. The fact that you can color grade on there instantly is amazing. It's built around the ecosystem of everything being real time. So you don't have to, because I came from doing stuff for social. I would do stuff for like, these big brands, and it was like, we need it today. We need it in a day and stuff like that. This was before Real Engine, Unreal Engine was a real major thing outside the video game space. But you have to do it fast. I don't have the time to sit down and I don't have that Pixar time. Pixar money gives you Pixar time. You got 1,000 people working on a project. When you're doing indie projects and small projects, time is of a value. You know what I mean? When you're doing reactionary things with social stuff, like time is a value. So kicks in to Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine gives you that fast thing. You can kick it out and render it out, and it's done. You know what I mean? You don't have to go around, mess around, bringing in After Effects. If you want to, you do some post work, that's cool. But if you don't have to do it, you can do everything inside Unreal Engine. So I suggest that anybody you're thinking about it, just jump in at 2 feet. It's going to be it's a bit of a learning curve. But once you get in there, I feel like, I see somebody has a question. How long does it take till you complete a finishing? Example, 1 minute skit. Well, it's 1-to-1. So 1 minute skit would take me 1 minute to do it. But let's just do the overall process, right? Let's talk about how long does it take me to set the room. Well, I have to measure the room out, use the boxes, whatever. That's a 30-minute process, a 45-minute process to make sure I'm 1-to-1. I have to get on the suit. So to get on the suit takes about, 15, 20 minutes to get the suit on. It takes me another 20 minutes to calibrate. So now we're looking at an hour just of prep time, right? So you get in the suit, you do a couple of takes, and then when it comes to acting, it's really up to you. I mean, how good are you as an actor and whatnot? I do a couple of takes where now I use this mic as a boom mic so I can record the audio. I come back and record a better audio, but I want to have a scratch audio so I know when to move it. And then after that, I go through a process. I use my iPhone here, and I go ahead and screen capture my face. So there's a body process, which 1-to-1. I'll do about 4 or 5 takes with a prep time of about an hour. About an hour 15, hour 20, let's say hour 30 to be honest. Then I do my takes. That takes about 30 minutes. So now we have 2 hours. After that, I have to take that scene, I have to put it inside of Unreal Engine. That's going to take about, and drop it in about 20 minutes. And then after that, I gotta, do the textures and all that, yada yada yada. So the texture can take about 3-4 hours. So honestly, to be honest, a scene would take you with everything kit in the caboodle. I'm thinking my goal is to get it done in 1 day, but right now it's like 3-4 days for a scene, right? For 1 minute scenes, 3-4 days. Even though the actual mocapping would take 1 minute because it's 1-to-1, but everything that's involved of getting everything ready would take about 3-4 days to build this scene, to model the scene, to get that. I'm not even talking about bringing other people voice out, because I might do the body motion for some of the other actors, but they'll do the voice motion, and I have to take their voice motion and like dub talk over it and do their expressions and whatnot. So it is a process. It is a process. Hopefully that answers your question, but it does take some time to get that done. You know what I mean? It does take some time. You know what I mean? My goal is to have a 1 minute scene a day, right? If I can do a 1 minute scene a day, I am killing them, right? I am next level with my stuff. But that's the goal, to get 1 minute scene done in a day. We're talking from inception. I start with the script, I finish with a scene. You know what I mean? Even if I start 8 a.m. and I'm done 3 a.m., I'll take that as a super win, because I've been in studios and 1 minute of animation would take a couple of months. No lie, right? And you have so many hands involved. But now with the mocap and now with the Unreal Engine and now with these new technologies that are coming out, like it's totally different. It's totally different. Another question here is action scenes would be dope. Is it the same suit used in to create Boondocks? I the Boondocks show, I would say it's a well, Boondocks is well, when you come to animation, there's two major forms, 2D and 3D animation. Boondocks is a 2D animated show. So they didn't use, they hand drew everything out. Now they might have used mocap references or video references, stuff like that, and combined references, but they didn't use, as far as my knowledge, I'm ready to bet on it that they didn't use any mocap suits, stuff like that. But maybe I think the next version, I think they maybe, I don't know, they kind of kickstanded for a second. I don't know what's going over there, but I think they was thinking about doing a 3D version of it. And nowadays, even if it's a keyframe animated scene, a lot of times they will have certain scenes use mocap, right? A lot of times, even in anime, right? So I've seen a lot of anime shows. I shot up Useful Table, but they will do some, mocap in the background when people are walking, whatnot, and then they'll cut back and forth. So it just depends. Mocap is here to stay, and it's only growing, it's only getting faster. So to answer your question, I would say they didn't use a mocap, so they just hand draw everything. But so like I said, it's so many ways to do it. Like you have 3D that looks 2D, you have 2D that looks 3D. I mean, it's so many ways to do it. It's so many ways to style it. So I mean, it's just up to whatever you want to do when it comes to that. But I would say jump on, like here's a couple nuggets. You learn Unreal Engine, right? The Blender is free, so you can literally do a whole scene free, right? If you don't have the money right now, try and save up or rent out or get a credit. Like people are afraid, get a credit card. You're looking at, I'm not selling the suit. I wish I was selling the suit, but get a credit card, buy a mocap suit. It's $3K, make payments on it. Like if you're serious about your craft and you're serious about getting things done, get on it early, because when you learn Unreal Engine, not only do you learn Unreal Engine for I'm gonna do it for animation. Now you're like, okay, now I could be in the gaming industry, right? Now I'm on the cutting edge of the AR and the VR thing, the whole metaverse thing's about to explode. You can be right there. You might not necessarily lead the charge, but you're in the driver's seat. You're in the front of the car. So when something do happen, you can take advantage of it, right? So I would say learn these tools, especially Unreal Engine, especially AR and VR and all these things are coming out. Because honestly, if you learn, when I learned something for D, I learned it. I felt good, and everybody's talking about Blender. So I gotta learn Blender. But the funny thing, when I jumped into Blender, it was almost the same. It was like jumping into Blender. I was like, oh wow, okay, this is almost the same. It wasn't a huge learning curve. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say is like you learn one tool, the fundamentals of one tool, you learn the fundamentals of 3D. You learn the fundamentals of texture. You learn the fundamentals of texture in Cinema 4D, in Substance Painter, in whatever new tool they drop, they're gonna base it off that. It's like learning Photoshop, right? You learn Photoshop, you know how to 3D, you can do that same thing in a multiple of tools, right? If you can run up a hill, you can run down a hill. So I would say just pick up Blender, pick up Unreal, and then learn it. And then by doing that, you're single-handedly mastering every 3D software, because they're not going to jump and have a new way of doing things, right? So it's one of those things, like I say, just learn it, pick it up, go with it. It's a lot more difficult. I mean, now you got YouTube tutorials, you got classes and all that. I can recommend a bunch of them, but you learn it and really, sorry about the audio, but you can learn it, you can really utilize it, and you can get paid today. Like a lot of jobs are looking for people who are mastering Unreal Engine. Like it's so many jobs for Unreal Engine. Like I'm just being transparent with you. I get calls all the time or emails all the time. Like, yo, man, can you help me with Unreal? Yo, sorry about the mic. Let me get the mic. All right, here. Technical. All right, we're back in business. So, learning these softwares, I lost my but learning these softwares, you can get jobs today. And I think if you're learning the software, I would say, let's say you're a traditional guy, you in Maya, right? Learn Unreal Engine. If you want to learn Unreal Engine, learn the basics of this enough to demonstrate to a potential employer to say, look, I know the software now, right? So boom, the picture was like, the software, you can get in there and really just drag and drop and retexturing. And then let's see what's all right. Let's see. Are we good, Mike? Is everything cool? You want to take a break? Are you can not just playing. But if you learn these tools, and I think you can jump a lot easier. I think a lot of it is intimidating. There's that learning curve. That's that comfortability of being in a software that you're familiar with. And then you jump to another software. It's like, oh, where's this? Where's that? Where's that? But when you learn where your buttons are, it's essentially the same thing, right? You can jump into, well, I can say from jumping from Cinema 4D to the Blender to modeling was the same thing, right? I mean, sure, Blender may have some extra tools that or different tools that Cinema 4D don't have, but you're not learning everything from scratch all over again. So when you jump into Unreal Engine, that was a high learning curve. But once you get a lot of stuff that you don't use, a lot of stuff for the gaming engine that you're not going to use. But when you jump in there, you kind of stick to the tools that you need and you explore from there. Like I said, the timeline. And here's the weird thing. If you learn something, if there's a new feature inside of Unreal Engine, you can say, wow, that's amazing. And you can take that same ideology and approach inside Cine4D or inside Blender. So it's like you can learn that tool and you honestly mastering the way of doing things, right? I would say to me, Unreal Engine has the best, even though it's funny, they have the best timeline, the way they do it. Like you can cut to a scene and you can have lights pop in, texture repop in, and stuff like that. Where even though the Cine4D has a take system, which is cool, but Unreal Engine just does it so differently, right? And it's to me, it's amazing the way you do it. Like I'm gonna show you. Let me pull up Unreal Engine and show you what I'm working on and where I'm at and how fast it is. Like it's so fast. I'm pulling it up right now. It's so fast that you're able to make changes on the go. So you're able to be creative. It's like it goes back to being like on when you're painting. Like I can just paint and make these changes. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. I appreciate that, Tyrone. I would say like, yo, you gotta jump into it. You gotta use it. You gotta. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing piece of software, and I would say like, it's one of those softwares that it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal piece of software, and it's cutting edge, and it's not, especially with Unreal Engine 5. Like Unreal Engine 5 for me, I wouldn't say a game changer, but it's like you're buying a house and you lived in the house. You just bought a house like a year ago, and all of a sudden it's like, yo, there's a basement down there. You're like, there's a basement? Yeah, there's a basement. And lumens down there. You can just drop as much geometry down there you want. And it's like, wow. And the way they're coming out with updates on Unreal Engine, I've never seen it done. Like they're just dropping updates after updates, and it's free the whole time. Like here's another free update. Here's another free update. So Unreal Engine is one of those tools, and you can put in your toolkit, whether you're doing animation, whether you're doing real time, whatever you're doing. It's one of those things that I feel like it should be in everyone's toolkit, because when you learn a software, you're betting on the future of software. You don't want to learn a software and then 5 minutes from now that software is dead and people switch off and nobody no uses it. So when you get a software, you're betting on the future. Unreal Engine is a safe bet for me, right? Because it can be used in so many aspects. And look, again, Unreal Engine is free. I'm not a sponsor, nothing like that. I'm just speaking my truth, but it can be used in so many aspects. Like you learn Unreal Engine, 4 or 5 people are saying, yo, I will hire you for this. I will hire you for this. I can hire you for this, right? And you give the ability to pick and choose. Right now, it's a hot software, right? And it's not a high learning curve. A lot of people are intimidated by it, but it really isn't that difficult, right? It really isn't that crazy when you get into it and you start clicking around. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. All right, boom, boom, boom. And I'm back at home. It's easy. It's really easy. Like, let me show you what I got, guys, going on here. Let's see here. I don't want to throw anything off. Get this down here. But it's really, 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 really easy. Like I'm using like, and then they have like plugins, right? They have plugins that you can like a learning courses where you can go and grab those learning courses and then you can pop it in. They're like, yo, go ahead. It's for free. Use the eyeball. So I grabbed the eyeball from this demo they had. I grabbed hair. I grabbed the hair, figure out how they make the hair, then added my own hair. So they have a lot of, and the only thing I would say, the tutorials are mainly meant for games. So they have a lot of guys making good stories, like Winbush is making a lot of good ones, but it's not meant for what I'm trying to use it for, right? So let me show you what I got going on here. Don't judge me because there's fog all over the place. I was trying something else, but it's like a fog sheet. I got to take the fog sheet off. But I would say that when you get in there, you can do a lot of different things, and it's real time. Like it's you just hey, I don't like that. I can move here. I don't like this. I can change this. I can do this. I can do that. You know what I mean? A lot of times I gotta reload the texture because you can see in the eyes, it's a little blurry or whatever. But it auto loads, but it takes a while. But I'm like, look, like you're not doing this. This is the look I wanted. This is the look I'm feeling comfortable with right now. But you're not the speed of this, that 1-to-1, that going all the way in, the details and stuff like that, and stylized and whatever styles you want to do. You're not doing this in any other software. You're not. It's just not going to be that fast. You can't beat it, and it's just not going to be that fast. And this is what I'm saying. Like you can do photorealistic where it looks really cool and really amazing. I didn't go that approach. I just went ahead and went with the stylized version. I'm pretty feel comfortable. I'm liking it. You know what I mean? It fits the story. But I would say it's fast. You know what I mean? I just want to show you guys, like, I can make changes on the fly, skin texture, all that on the fly, and it's just that fast. And then you complement with the suit. You know what I mean? You're doing all this other stuff. You can do a lot. Let me show you guys both of the screens, but you can do a lot of different stuff. A lot of different stuff. You don't have to necessarily pick one thing to do. You know what I mean? You can kind of lean back here, but you can do mocap, you can do animation, and all the tools are available. Back in the days, these tools were so expensive, it was ridiculous. Like, you couldn't purchase these tools. Like, I remember looking at Avatar and thinking, that's $1 billion thing. I can never purchase it. Now I can literally rent out the same software they're using, right? And now I can real time do what they're doing in Avatar. Like, if I wanted to, I can real time do it, right? I'm doing it from home at 1:23 a.m. in Atlanta, Georgia, right? You know what I mean? So you don't need a huge shoot. Really, what the most valuable thing you can use is, honestly, is a skill set, right? Because you can take this, you can rent out a studio for a couple $100, and you can get the big environment. You can take this mocap suit, take it off somebody who can do some backflips, stuff like that, pop it on him, and you can get mocap. Then you can download mocap and mix it up. You can do keyframe animation and use on certain scenes that, a little more intricate, a little nuance and whatnot. Or you can do it for video games because you don't need that many attacks, right? So you can use mocap, you can use Unreal Engine, you can use like Blender, and all these tools. The best part about them, they interconnect, they work with each other, right? They're not like, oh no, I can't take my file from here to there. Like, certain aspects, but you can't. But honestly, you can finish in Unreal Engine, right? And I'm a big advocate of Unreal, as you guys got here. I'm a big advocate of what Blender's doing. It's an amazing piece of software, and their real-time thing is growing every day. I love what some are doing with Redshift. That I think Octane's coming out with some real time. I know it's been talked about for so long, and everybody's waiting on it. But Octane's coming out. So the future is real time, right? Whether it be in Unreal Engine or in something else, the future is real time. So that gives us, as creatives, the ability to execute faster. So I would say, if you have an idea and execute faster, not only gonna have to hire a huge studio, you can get a lot of things done. So what I'm saying is the technology is getting here for a lot of our dreams to happen as creative. So if you're in the creative space, if you're trying to do something amazing, and you're like, look, I want to do animation, I want to do a movie, I want to do whatever. I mean, I can get Pixar results. I can hands down get Pixar results inside Unreal Engine. I'd have no problems with doing it. I would do a one-to-one comparison if challenged, right? I feel like, well, it might be as crispy, but to the average viewer, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, right? Especially a lot of scenes, like, you know what I mean? And then you still have path tracing inside of Unreal Engine, right? Traditional renderers. So I feel like back in the days, a Pixar render would take forever, right? I remember back in the days, I had a computer that would cost like $3,000-$4,000, and a frame would take like 3-4 minutes. Nowadays, you're doing it in split seconds. You're doing it in 60 frames per second, right? And average movie is only 24 frames per second. So you can do it fast. You can render faster than you can watch it, right? So, which is amazing to me, right? It's amazing. And that, coupled with, some ingenuity, it's your mocapping and whatnot, you can do a lot of more things. So the future is extremely bright for independent creators. I see studios. I don't know if you guys were around when the DSLR revolution happened. When the DSLR revolution happened, it was crazy, because I remember the first time seeing it. It started with the Red camera, right? The Red camera was the first really digital thing that you can rent out. Before we went to high-end image, you had to go film, and it was expensive, and then develop, and da. But when the Red hit, people was like, "Yo, I can do this myself," right? The Red one was it was instrumental, right? And then after the Red one, the DSLR camera said it was meant for photographers. But when that thing hit, oh my God, when it hit, yo, it was, everybody had one, from 5s to 70s, the TTI, all that great stuff. So it hit. But what I'm trying to say, it's Unreal Engine, mocap, Blender is like the DSLR revolution happening, right? It's like a DSLR revolution. Do these suits come in different sizes from varied performance and all one facade? Okay, well, so here's the thing. The suits come in different sizes, right? All multiple sizes, right? This is a suit, this strap-on suit, tight suit, comes in multiple sizes. But I would say they do have the system of straps that comes with the suit, right? And you can strap on to different, whatever I strap it on to my daughter, who's like 9 years old. You can strap it on anybody, right? I do like that aspect where they have the two options. When I first got, I was like, oh man, straps, it'll take me all day to put these on. But then my daughter came in, I want to try da. I said, all right, I'll strap you up. I need somebody to test. She puts it on, she walks out the room. I'm still testing, now she's walking. So what I'm saying is they have the best of both worlds, and they know what they're doing at perception norm. They know the straps is you know, everybody can fit it versus a Rococo suit. You got to get the right size for individual. Not to not Rococo. They got a nice suit. The whole, you put it on one zip, one quick 300 zip, you're good to go. You know what I mean? So it's two different approaches to a problem. But I would say I like the add-on for $300, so I can just put the sensors in and be done with it. You know what I mean? Versus the straps, because it's a lot faster, right? I can take it off and put it on. The sensors are very small, very, very small. I don't know if you can see this, but the sensor is about the size of a fingernail. I broke my fingernail, but they're very small. I mean, they look like a big peel. They're very, very small sensors. But they're accurate, right? They do the job. You know what I mean? And you don't feel them when you put on. That was one concern I had, like, oh man, it's gonna be weighted. But you can take the sensor off. And you know, and I can move my right arm with my left arm or whatever. But I mean, I think there's gonna be some tricks I'm gonna try to do with the suit. But that's to answer your question. There are one size fit all. But the process is amazing. Mocap is a lot easier. If you can work your phone, you can work a mocap suit. It's just that simple. Phone mocap, right? I mean, kids. My daughter was helping me out. You know what I mean? She's pretty brilliant and bright and whatnot for a 9-year-old. But she was helping me out. You know, and I was, you know, just a couple of tweaks and whatnot. And she was working my command center. So, you know, if a kid can do it, you pretty much can do it. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, it's gonna be a little bit of troubleshooting and whatnot, but I mean, the customer service is pretty good. Like, this is not AT&T customer service. This is real customer service. Like, they're really actually helping you. They're real time. You can jump on social. They're one time. They'll, you know, share screens with you and all that stuff, and they'll look in there and say, okay, click here, grab that, do this, do that. So the customer service is amazing, right? Amazing customer service. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be stuck on the island, you know, scrolling through forums and tutorials. And I would say that for Coco and Perception Neuron, you're not going to be stuck out there by yourself. They're going to be hands-on. They're going to be like, how you like it? Do you need help? And they're like, yeah, I got it. Boom, bop, bam. So the customer service, like I say, is amazing, right? That one thing I felt good. Like, okay, I felt like, okay, I was a little nervous. Like, oh, so now I'm about to suits and get to my house. It's not going to work. But I was a little nervous. But the fact that they helped me, and it, you know, it was something I wasn't doing. I didn't turn something on. But I was like, but I ain't turning on. But I would say the assistance is amazing, right? So that's pretty much it with the Real Coco. That's pretty much it with Unreal Engine. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, I mean, you want to know anything, like, yo, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? Or how do I approach this? Like, if you have a 3D question, an animation question, now is the time, because always, you know, anything in the back of your mind. How long does it take to do this? How long does it take to do that? I'm here to answer all questions. I share whatever I know. You know, because there's a lot of ways to approach a problem, right? There's a lot of ways to approach. There's a lot of ways you can do, but each way presents its own challenge, right? I had I had the ability to talk to Ufotable, was the anime studio, and I was asking them what they're doing. What they're like, oh, you know, it was a little bit of language barrier, but I was able to reach out some people who I believe worked there, and we was having a communication about, you know, how they're doing this anime, because I'm a huge anime fan, right? What they're doing, how they're utilizing. So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And here's the thing, I can do the same look across every software, right? I can do the same look in Cinema 4D. I can do the same look in Blender. I can do the same look in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is going to be a little bit more challenging, but the fundamentals are the same, right? I can approach, and you can watch a tutorial in Blender on how to do something in Cinema 4D, right? So like I said, that's that universal knowledge, right? Where you learn how to approach a problem from the same angle. And I think that is pretty cool, because usually in life, you learn one software, you have to relearn everything. Not nowadays. Everything's kind of based off the same thing. The interfaces are starting to get similar. So I wouldn't, if I was anybody approaching a new software or new program, jump into it 2 feet deep. It's not as difficult as you're saying, right? There's a lot more tutorials, and if you already have background knowledge, I was talking to a carpenter the other day, and I was telling the carpenter to get into it, because it's the same thing. You know what I mean? When I built a little, not to toot my own horn, but I built a little, you know, little flower pot in the backyard. But I used Cinema 4D to model it, and I built it in the backyard. So it was a pretty amazing to use a tool and digitize it. Now, what's coming up next, which is crazy now, like, okay, this is what's really on the cups and what's really coming. The ability to 3D print. It's been here, right? But now I'm hearing a lot of noise around visualize. Like, I don't know this field at all, right? But I'm hearing people more and more talks about building motherboards and stuff like that and integrating into the 3D printing, right? So essentially, if you can build a motherboard, if you understand that type of technology, and it's supposed to be coming our way, so it's supposed to be as simple as using nodes, right? That's what I'm hearing. It's going to be like node based, visually scripting. So if that's possible, the future is going to be where you can essentially build tools and robots and stuff at home from engineering inside your 3D program. So it's an amazing time to be around, that you can take stuff out of the digital space, out of the metaverse, into your real life. So it's going to be an amazing time. So I would suggest everybody jump into it and learn it, take classes. I'm going to start doing free classes. Like if you guys want me to do free classes or whatever, hit me up and I'm going to try to do free classes, because obviously I'm really, I will. Let me get this mic right. So I would love to share what I know. So I'm planning to have a nonprofit that I launch called Get Creative Help. And what Get Creative Help is, it's more focused on children, but adults all alike, you can get involved. I'm going to be launching it real soon, where I'm going to be it's going to be an online virtual class for free, for the free ski. So you can come in there, you can learn, you can ask questions, you get that real-time feedback. Instead of digging in deep in the forums, it's going to be one of those things where you do a session every day after school. That's the goal for kids who coming home after school, to get in there and to learn, because I really want to show, and I want people who don't have even if you don't have this, and it's all be free software. We're only going to use free software, right? And we're going to learn the fundamentals. We're going to learn the basics. We're going to get an understanding, so you can take that practical knowledge and you can go to job. Not next year, next week, but today. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I when it comes to collaboration and whatnot, as you can see, I'm 10 toes down in this project right now. But as soon as I take my head above water, I'm definitely open to collaborate and find a solution to work with some things, because I'm always into new products and projects and whatnot. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, when you're doing projects, you just don't know what it is. You know what I mean? There's a lot of opportunity that comes across the table that necessarily, like, do you know a person can do it? I'm like, I don't know nobody and I hit up people I do know, and everyone's booked. Everyone's booked. And it'd be like really cool projects, like high-end projects, celebrity projects, fashion and brand projects. And it's like, bro, I can't do it, but I just can't responsibly do it. I have to turn it down. But like, they're like, look, we just need a beginner. We just need an extra hand. Somebody who can just move these and move that and add this. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunity out there in the 3D realm, in the 3D space, in the animation space, in the drawing space, in the digital creative. There's a lot of opportunity there. You know what I mean? And I think you just gotta go ahead and put your hat in the race. You know what I mean? Shout out to a lot of guys doing it. We're just in a different space where I think the communication between everybody is shared, so you have a lot of learning that you can do. So I mean, I'm going to sign off to you guys. I appreciate you guys staying with me, sticking for the whole 37 minutes. Like I said, I'm gonna leave this up. You know what I mean? If you have any questions, if you're watching this after it goes live, put questions in the comments. I'll just respond to the comments and say, look, this is the answer. This is where you go, or ask this person, or do this or do that, whatever. If I can help, I'm definitely going to help. If you're like, yo, I need a tutorial, who's a good guy to start off with, I can say, look, here's a guy to start off with. You want to learn this program? This is a guy to start off with. You know what I mean? So, I mean, hopefully, should be starting a Kickstarter campaign hopefully soon. I forgot. I'm still in the suit. Should be starting a Kickstarter campaign real soon. I should be starting a lot of other things real soon. Ooh, gotta stretch the legs out. Gotta stretch your legs out. Like the fact that I can sit in the seat and let's see. Let's see. Okay, so when you walking around, it's not that bad. I can go too far because this cord is kind of. Let me get a little low here. Oh yeah. You get in there. Now this suit, I'm not used to spandex, so y'all have to forgive me. But so if you look at the feet sticks. That's some sticky feet, right? So if you can, I don't know if y'all can see the feet, but it's sticky, right? Now you can do a little of that going on. You know what I mean? You can, but the feet stick. And a lot of issues with a lot of other suits, the feet don't stick. Let me get low. The feet don't stick. So, but when you have this suit, the feet sticks. I gotta say, the feet sticks. You see, I'm trying to throw it off, trying to give it a little do, but the feet sticks. You can't go wrong. I gotta give it to these guys for this price, and the feet sticks. Look at they sticking, no sliding, and that's a lot of problems. I'm holding the mic, so the arms are a little messed up. But if I recalibrate, I'm sure that's going to be okay. You can see the feet. So there's a metal chair right here. I don't know if y'all can see. It's a metal chair, and I can. Sorry about the audio, guys, but I can put my leg on the metal chair and I can kick up. That's my foot on metal. So, like I said, I'm not saying that it's you know, resistant to all metal, but what I am saying is pretty good. That's pretty good right there. Oh, so my head's cut off. Okay, let me get a little lower. See, now that's a little weird there. I don't know. That's a little weird. Now I'm pushing the suit. I'm next to metal, and I'm on my legs right. So that's a little off. But I would say for most, if you worry about metal interference, which was one of my major concerns, I can say the perception nuance is pretty good. It's pretty good, man. So let me get back on the seat because the knees might be good. The Rococos, I mean the perception nuance suit's good, but the knees might not be good. Let's see here. I think another question came on. All right. It says buy followers and primes and viewers on yourfalls.com. Okay. I don't know. Twitch apparently is throwing ads up here. I don't know who that is, but hey man, give this guy a shout out. Man, he's trying to hustle and get some followers or whatever. Let's give this guy a shout out. I mean, he's spamming, but hey man, go figure it out. But I would say, so yeah, it's still there. I probably recalibrate because I'm just touching metal and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, it stays in there. It rocks. I like to recalibrate after every scene. That way I can keep the sensors fresh. You know what I mean? Because you might have that one good take and you don't want to mess it up. And so that's why I go ahead and recalibrate. But as you can see, if you worry about it, I mean, it goes upstairs. If that's what you worry about, you can put your leg. I don't know. I think it's like elevation or something like that. It's called. But yeah, it definitely works with that. But like I said, it does what it need to do. You know what I mean? For anybody who's on the indie level, I would say short answer is the best suit, right? Now, if you get up there and you got the optical, and I think they offer a higher price tag, and they're coming down to do a demo. And I'm gonna ask the guy if we can do a live session, right? I'm gonna ask him, see what he says. A live session, because I want to stream it, and because I want to see what's better than this, right? I know the optical is pretty strong, you know what I mean? I think the optical stays, but this one for me is a pretty good suit, right? The only issue I would say, and I don't know if this is an issue or not. I wonder, I think I asked and gave the answer, so I wouldn't say it's an issue, but I wonder if you can get two people in here at once and we can both be in the scene. I don't know if you can do that or not, but that would be nice. Oh, and I want to be able to take a sensor, right? One of these little sensors, I want to put it on an object and move that object around. That would be nice. But I don't know. I think on the higher suit they offer, you can do that. But I just don't know as of right now. But I mean, it's pretty sweet suit. It does everything you need to do. When it comes to animation, I mean, I feel like the future is extremely bright. When it comes to bow capping and stuff like that, it's very user friendly. I feel like if you have design skills, right? If you have, if you have design skills, if you're putting things together and stuff like that. If you come from the graphic design background, don't be scared. Jump in with both feet, right? You can get in here. I mean, I think Adobe's doing some pretty weird, amazing things over there. And I love to reach out to them and talk to them about it. But they're doing some things with a 3D Stranger and stuff like that to make 3D more accessible to more people. And that's amazing. I think in the future with interactiveness and VR and AR and all these headsets that's dropping out every 5 minutes, I think the ability to live in VR is going to be huge. I've seen a lot of companies that are investing in it. So here's the thing, what happens, right? Before a company invests and does something in 3D, if you're working in a 3D space, you get to see it first, right? And you'll notice it because there'll be a lot more jobs hitting the market for programmers and designers and the whole team they putting together to approach something in 3D or animation or whatever for AR and VR. And I was able to work on AR initially at the beginning. And I did some things with a couple car companies, which was pretty cool. I have to admit, was pretty cool. I mean, what it was you put these you put your phone up and it'll track the image and make the image animate. But what we was doing, we were flipping it on its head. We took the glasses, we locked it to our heads, and we were able to eye track it. And that was maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. So the AR is coming. The AR is coming, and the question is who's going to own the AR? Who's going to own the metaverse is what I want like to know, right? Because the metaverse could be shared. A couple of ideologies about metaverse. It could be shared, right? I'm talking about the AR version of the metaverse. Who's going to own it? That's what I want to know, right? Who owns? I know I'm getting off topic, but I think it's something you need to think about, and something it may spark an idea or put a seed in your mind. Because my question: who's going to own the metaverse, right? Who's going to own it, right? Because we know the internet is shared, but that's different. The metaverse has to work with each other, right? Everybody has to be there, so there has to be an interface so you can log on, and it has to be structured in a way. So it could be shared. Hopefully, it's shared. Hopefully, one company doesn't own it. But the social media in the metaverse is going to be next level. It's going to be something we never seen before. Social media in the metaverse is going to be crazy, right? So when an event like the Will Smith slap situation happens, imagine experiencing that in a social media space where you can physically, not necessarily physically, but digitally interact with people other than looking at text and video, right? Because video has been around for a pretty long time if you think about it. Text has been around since books. I don't know. That's a long time. So video and text is pretty much, but we haven't had a chance to immerse ourselves into it. So that's what I want to see, and that's where I think we're going with it. And I'm hoping to be in the front seat when we arrive there. But I would like to say thank you for watching everything, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna go back to setting this thing up and getting some more moves in, get some more pages done. Hey, stay tuned, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. You know, it's greatly appreciated. Y'all gonna have a good night.